Hey guys, today I'm super excited to talk to you about the new Netflix series Shadow and Bone. Now, this series is based off of a book by the same name. However, this book is part of a longer, I think it's a trilogy. I have not read the books. I need to preface that. I have not read the books, but after watching this, I'm really excited to dive into them. But it makes me curious if we get a second season, which fingers crossed that we do. If we get a second season, I'm curious if it's going to be called Siege and Storm, which is the second book in the trilogy. I guess we will have to wait and see. Now, I'm excited to give you my spoiler-free thoughts for this 8-episode season 1. But before I do, I'd love it if you take 1 second, hit that subscribe button. All right, let's talk about this. Hey, Tessa from Mama's Geeky here. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel. All right, guys, I gotta admit, after the first episode, I was immediately hooked. Even sooner on, I was super hooked. Now, just from seeing the trailer, it looked awesome. It looked fun. It looked kind of dark and gritty, but like fantastical, which is totally my jam. I mean, it's very clearly a young adult. It has that young adult series vibe. It was quite obvious. Right from the start, right from the trailer, and really right from the start of the series. But I love that stuff, so I was here for it. And you get some amazing stuff just in that first episode. I almost immediately felt connected to several of the different characters. I was into the story. I was wondering what was going to happen. I was feeling like there's going to be twists and turns already. I was super, super into it, super excited, and just really for the look of it. It's absolutely visually stunning. There's so much to love about this series. It's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, from the backgrounds to literally the outfits that people are wearing, it's absolutely gorgeous. I had so much fun just looking at all the costuming. I'm super into that stuff. I'm total geek over that, especially when it comes to like fantastical type stuff, right? Like this is sort of set in the past, but it's clearly like a non-existent world, so it's not really in the past, but a lot of the outfits were like that, like the hats the men were wearing and just the outfits in general, really super cool. That was one of my favorite parts of the entire series, if I'm being completely honest with you, was just looking at all of the outfits that everyone was wearing. Now, when it comes to the story itself, I felt like it was a little bit predictable, having not read the stories, not read the books. I still felt like I knew where certain things were going, and when a twist would happen, I'd think, well, that wasn't really a twist. I kind of saw that coming. Not necessarily a bad thing, because I was still intrigued. I was still sucked in. There's some slow moments, and if I had any complaint, it's that it feels like there's a lot of characters, and there's a lot of things going on, and sometimes you've got storylines that are in 4 or 5 different places, and you're trying to catch up and trying to remember, okay, this person's with this person, and they're doing this, and this person's with this person, and they're doing this, and why are there so many stories? Why are there so many characters spread out? Now, I think eventually it kind of makes sense, but there is just a lot of little branches that it felt like could have been tightened up a little bit better. Just for those especially who haven't read the book. Now, if you've read the books, you might have no problem following all of this because you know who is where and when. I'm sure it's similar-ish to the books. Having not read them, I can't say where they went with this, what was the same, what was different. But still, the story overall, especially as it started to tie up toward the end of this season, was really good. Got to the point where I had to, as soon as one episode ended, I had to start the next one. I needed to know what was going to happen. There was no way I could wait. I was really, really super into it. And I'm hoping that we get another season, especially like the last shot. And this is no spoilers, but just the very last shot we get of episode 8 gave me literal chills. And I was so excited. There's so much action in this too. Now, I love action. I love fights, especially when you're using magic powers, which sometimes it did look a little silly to see people doing like this and that and this and that. But it was very reminiscent to me, honestly, of Elizabeth Olsen's Scarlet Witch, which she does. I can't do it. I look like a dummy, but you guys know what I mean. Using the hands to create the magic and to use your powers, or I don't know. I do a very bad job at it, but I think you guys will understand what I'm saying. That's what we get a lot of when they're using their magic powers. And I don't want to say magic powers, but using powers. And it looks good too. It looks really well done. I mean, sometimes it looked a little cheesy, I'm not going to lie, but it was something that I never dwelled on, you know? And there's certain powers that definitely are cooler than others. Again, I don't want to give any spoilers, but there's some that look really, really amazing. The fold itself looks incredible. Oh my god, the Volcra, they're these creatures that live in the fold. They're crazy. They look super cool. They show them close up a lot, and they just look awesome. And for me, like, they were one of my favorite parts because I love creatures like that. We didn't see nearly enough of them. I would have liked to see actually more of them just because I love that stuff. But I get why they were there when they needed to be there for the story, and then they weren't there when they didn't need to be there. It makes sense. But at the same time, I was like, I want more of them. They look so cool. You can tell probably a lot of their budget went into that, and the costuming, of course, and the sets. Just absolutely gorgeous. The cinematography, sometimes during the fights, the camera would turn or pan out. I mean, I just love that stuff. So total nerd over that stuff. I absolutely loved it. But really, having not known anything about this series going into it, anything about the books, anything about the stories, I gotta say, it was great for me. I got intrigued by the characters. I got intrigued by the story. My main issue is that there was too many of them going on at the same time, but I do understand why they needed to do it that way. It just felt sometimes like it was too spread out. But overall, really, really liked it. Liked the backstory of the certain characters, the twists and turns, even though sometimes I would see them coming, sometimes I would not. So I did enjoy that, the overall story. I'm definitely looking forward to, hopefully, a season 2. I think all of the acting was phenomenal. I believed every single character. No one seemed a little too ridiculous. No one seemed like they were overacting or underacting or not performing up to par with everyone else around them. So I enjoyed that as well. So I'm looking forward to a lot more from all of these actors. It's a great cast. Perfect casting. I'm super here for it, and it's made me want to read the books. So there's that. I give this a 4.5 out of 5. And yeah, I'm into it, and I'm hoping that we get more. Now this comes to Netflix. Shadow and Bone comes to Netflix on April 23rd. You guys do not want to miss this. If you've read the books, I'm so curious for you to come back after you've seen it and let me know how it compares. Is it very similar? Are there certain things that they completely changed? I want to know, because it feels like it's staying true to its source material, but I don't know because I haven't read it. That's just the vibe I get from it. All right, guys, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on videos like this one. Follow me over on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at Mama's Geeky over there, MAMASGEEKY. Thanks for taking the time to watch this, guys, and I'll see you next time. A huge thank you to all of my monetary supporters, those of you who have become YouTube members as well as patrons. Now, if you want to see your name here in the credits, consider joining one or the other. Guess what? You also get a special face-to-face Zoom meeting with yours truly and the rest of the gang. We have an absolute blast once a month, so consider becoming a member. Thanks, guys.